Hello guys, and welcome to another Red Life Studio episode. Please subscribe and give me a like, and share my videos if you're enjoying them. Also, feel free to leave me a comment below. Now let's begin with today's stories.
Had an affair and lost my wife. Need advice on how to get my family back. I am a 36M who was married to my wife M32F for the last 7 years, together for 5 before that. She and I have 3 kids together, 8M and 4M, and a 2-month-old girl. About a year ago, I started having a relationship with a girl at my work, Mel 23F. Mel was a lot of fun to be around and always made me feel good when I was around her. It was stupid, but I started the affair because she always complimented me and laughed at my jokes, and I found her attractive. We started seeing each other regularly, and I started making up frequent business trips just so I could sleep at her place or go on small trips together. This went on for about 8 months before my wife M confronted me. She had seen the texts pop up on my MacBook when she was using it to book our yearly family trip and asked me about it as soon as I came home. I tried to brush it off saying it's spam, but she didn't believe me. I ended up admitted everything to her, telling her she isn't the person I married anymore, that she never makes me feel good or laughs at my jokes the way Mel does. She handled everything with grace. She didn't cry or yell, but just said that she thinks it would be best if I moved out. I was a little shocked by this. I thought there would be at least a discussion, but I agreed as I wanted to be with Mel. It's been about 4 months since that night. I now live in a small apartment with Mel and only get to see my kids once a week. Mel has absolutely no interest in the kids and will leave for the day to her best friend's house every time to avoid the kids. Mel is very messy, leaving all her stuff everywhere all the time, and she never cleans or cooks. She also is constantly drinking or smoking weed and always going out to the clubs with her friends. We've been arguing about this pretty regularly, and all our arguments end in screaming matches. My wife and I never argued like this, never screamed at each other. Mel makes just above minimum wage, so I have to pay for everything by myself now. My wife is a nurse practitioner making well over 6 figures, and I pay her $2.5K every month in child support as was ordered by the court. I can't save any money now, whereas we lived extremely comfortably on our 2-salary income and had a hefty savings and retirement fund. I lost all of that in the divorce. In hindsight, I can see my wife was exhausted because she did everything for everyone. She worked full-time, she always got the kids ready and took them to school/daycare, packed lunches for everyone including me, cleaned, did homework with our 8 years old, made dinner and cleaned up that, did everyone's laundry, etc., and the list goes on and on. She is superwoman, and I regret I didn't see that. I miss our sex life. It was incredible, and I crave that intimacy, whereas with Mel it's like a dead fish. No connection or intimacy. Now that I'm doing 100% of everything by myself while working full-time, I get it. I get why my wife didn't always have energy for everything I wanted to do. I just want everything back how it was. How can I approach this with my wife? How can I show her I'm a changed man who only cares about his family? And yes, I know I'm the asshole, that's not why I'm here. Comment 1. It doesn't sound like you actually miss your ex-wife and kids, or that you have changed. It sounds more like you miss the comfort and stability of having a wife looking after you in your home. It also sounds like your ex-wife was basically a single mother for a while before you had your affair. You might have been living under the same roof, but you were not a productive or active member of the family. If your ex-wife has any sense, then you will not be getting your old family back ever. If you are also unhappy with your affair partner, then maybe you should go your separate ways and learn to be a better person and concentrate on being a father to your children. Comment 2. I think it's really complicated. I think we as a society created a cultural script where men felt they did not need to contribute in ways they didn't want to. They didn't need to truly co-parent and partner with mom, which sets up this situation over and over again. You also find men in their late 30s/early 40s are hitting these walls because their long-term partners who have been doing most of the work eventually check out. They have been raising the red flag for years that men need to contribute more in their lives, but honestly, it's easier to just not pull your weight or use weaponized incompetence to avoid it. That's where the women initiate most divorces, and men are often surprised by the divorce despite their wives raising all those red flags. Touching on what you brought up about entitlement, do you know about the concept of aggrieved entitlement? I highly recommend the Innuendo Studios series called The Alt-Right Playbook. Right now, it's commonly used to describing incels, but it can generally be applied to masculinity in this moment. Women have worked really hard to change and improve our roles and relationships. Due to living under the patriarchy, women have needed to work harder to create more happiness for ourselves. However, as a culture, we really haven't changed the script for men. Of course, this changes from person to person, but a lot of men do really struggle with entitlement and believing that they're a good partner and doing their part in a relationship, when in reality, they are still expecting what their fathers and grandfathers did. They don't want to do housework and child-rearing and find it denigrating when they do. And they know intellectually that isn't fair, but they still feel it. And around your 40s, you realize your younger days are behind you. It's time to start planning for the future and accepting that who you are now is who you probably will be for most of the rest of your life. For women, they've often been building and planning that for some time, and they look towards a future with a man who is entitled and not pulling his weight and decide it's easier to be a single mom because that at least forces him to parent some of the time. Many of us saw our mothers in this role bound by sexism and decided it wasn't for us. So men in their 40s are staring down decades of living with someone who they know they haven't been a good partner to, and the future is going to involve a lot of work. And they just don't want to do it. They're not accustomed to it, and they think that if they just dip out of the relationship and try to restart things with a younger woman, they'll get the chance to do it right that time. But they just repeat it with the younger woman. This is where we get all of that sexist garbage about women over 30 having too much baggage. It's just a way of saying they have enough life experience to know that they won't accept that nonsense. There are so many posts just like this one, where a dude thinks he's invented some incredible way to access the kind of sex he wants, casual, focused on him, focus on his pleasure, and then discovers that there are consequences for his actions. Because for so many years, they have weaseled out of those responsibilities. I actually do not think at all that it's an inherent character flaw of man. I know lots of incredible men who are fighting this every day. But it's really difficult. Of course, everyone wants less work and fewer responsibilities and more fun. And society is continually telling men messages that are sexist and perpetuate these inequities. Thank you for watching.